Hi, my name is Leanna Wade, and for this oral presentation, I chose the topic of false confessions and interrogations. In the beginning of this class, we were introduced to the case of the West Memphis Three, and interrogation methods and the false confession that was obtained played a really big part in the case, and we followed it through the entire semester, so I thought it might be appropriate to go back to it. To start with confessions, the court relies on them for leads, for additional evidence, to save time and money, in testing and searching for other new evidence. And trials would be avoided, and you're pretty much guaranteed a conviction because confessions are so persuasive. According to Mark Constanzo and David Cross, the two are authors of the textbook Forensic and Legal Psychology, confessions led to a conviction rate of 73%. They also corrupt other evidence and may acquit the accused. I first took legal psych, the intro class, a few semesters ago, and we learned about the Reed technique used in today's interrogation. And it has 9 steps that influence based on 1, loss of control. So the interrogation takes place in a small room where the interrogator is the one that's mainly in control. On social isolation, so they're interrogated alone, and you derive the suspect of emotional support and strength. Certainty of guilt comes into play, and the interrogator directly accuses a suspect and uses evidence ploys, which can be false. And exculpatory scenarios. So in this situation, the interrogator would imply leniency, but doesn't explicitly say so, by shifting the blame onto another person or another set of circumstances to provide justification for the crime, but still at the end of the day, the suspect, it results in him or her admitting to guilt. And once the investigator misclassifies the innocent person as guilty, then it's kind of a matter of coercion into that false confession. So reforms I would make based on taking this class in my intro to legal class would be 3. The first would be to video record the interrogation, the second to limit the time of the interrogation, and the third possibly to limit the use of false evidence ploys, but that one has the most cons of the list of the 3. So with video recording, it creates a permanent record that can be played over and over again, and that can be analyzed over and over again, and it would make it harder for the interrogators to be abusive or intimidating or coercive, because their methods used to obtain the confession would be on tape and able to be presented in front of a jury and a judge. I guess the argument that law enforcement would have is that it would be expensive. However, almost every cell phone comes with a camera, and it doesn't cost that much money to ensure a fair interrogation. So I think a little bit of extra spending in the budget wouldn't be that detrimental. Other cons in video recording would be, the tape being manipulated or partially recording it so that maybe the interrogation itself is absent, but the admission is present, and only showing segments of the tape at the trial. According to the Innocence Project's website, more than 20 states have already begun to do this voluntarily. So it's just a matter at this point of implementing it nationwide. As far as lengthy interrogation goes, it's recommended that they last 4 hours or less. A study conducted by Leo and Ofshi in 1998 concluded that the longer the interrogation process was for an investigation, the greater the likelihood of an untrustworthy confession. And then I remember covering this topic in legal psychology, and my professor talked about how in England there is this thing called the PACE Act, which makes it illegal for interrogators in England to lie and use false evidence ploys. And a witness must be present at the interrogation, as well as audio recording it, an interrogation. So I feel like this would be good in terms of in terms of helping false confessions, people not confessing. But in terms of, not using false evidence ploys, period, I feel like that might be working against us and getting somebody who is guilty to confess. So yeah, that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much.